So today we will practice some questions regarding what we have studied so far in this chapter, which is chapter number 2 in mathematics 2. It's called Pythagoras theorem. Specifically, we will be looking at the questions of practice set 2.1. There are only 10 questions, 10 main questions in the exercise 2. I hope we will be able to complete all the 10 questions in the session now while you are attending the class online, so that your homework is complete as and when the class ends. And I also hope that all of you will tell me at the end of the class or by the end of the day that yes, you have completed all the 10 questions. Because the questions are very few, we will try to go slow and complete it in the class itself. Okay? So when I ask you if you are ready, and when I ask you if we can move to the next question, think carefully and then answer. As usual, before we start solving the question, just to remind ourselves what we have studied is, first thing that we studied this year, the new thing was similarity of right angle triangles, in which we said if we have a right angle triangle A, B, C with a right angle at angle B, and we draw an altitude BD onto the hypotenuse AC, then triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADB is similar to triangle BDC. Okay. When we study it for the first time, we find it difficult to remember the correct order, but we need to remember the correct order. With practice, we will figure out. Just notice once again how I write it. I start from the bigger triangle and I follow the alphabetical order, keeping the right angle in the center. So when I say ABC, it's very easy. Then when I look at the smaller triangle, I start with what I definitely know. I definitely know that angle A is common, so I start with angle A. Then I have to find the right angle, that is D. That leaves me with B. I don't remember this. I just know the logic. When I write the third triangle, I know what is common with the main triangle is angle C. So I keep it at the end. In the middle, I have to keep the 90-degree angle. So D comes in the middle. What remains is B. So once again, I don't remember this. You don't need to remember this. Understand the logic of how to write similarity of right triangles. After this, we studied theorem of geometric mean, in which we said if we have a same situation, triangle ABC, which is right angle triangle where angle B is the right angle, then BD is the geometric mean of AD and CD. So we can write BD square equals to AD into CD. This is just another way of writing that BD is equal to square root of AD into CD. We combined these two properties, these two results, to prove the Pythagoras theorem. And looking at the same triangle, Pythagoras theorem says the square of the longest side, which is opposite to the 90-degree angle and is called hypotenuse, in this case it is AC, its square will be equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides of the triangle. That is AB square plus BC square. Finally, the converse of the Pythagoras theorem is that if we have a triangle with sides AB, BC, and CA such that AC square equals to AB square plus BC square, then we can say that angle ABC equals to 90 degree. That means triangle ABC is a right angle triangle. This is what we have studied so far in this chapter. Couple of other things that we need to remember for this chapter, for this exercise, are the special cases of 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle, and the 45 degrees, 90 degrees triangle. The 30, 60, 90 degree triangle cases, in this case, if the hypotenuse is h, then the side opposite to 30 degree angle is 1 by 2 h, and the side opposite to 60 degree angle is root 3 by 2 h. Similarly, if we have the special case of 45, 45, 90, which is an isosceles right angle triangle, and if the hypotenuse is h, the length of the hypotenuse is h, then the other two sides, by definition, they are isosceles. They both of them will be equal to 1 by root 2 times of h. This is also something that will be used in this chapter. And of course, basic things like what is the perimeter of a square, what is the perimeter of a rectangle, how much is the area of a square, how much is the area of a rectangle. These things may also be used because, you know, perimeter, square and rectangles are very special parallelograms. They are quadrilaterals, and when we draw their diagonals, we end up with right angle triangles. What am I saying? I'm saying that if we start with a rectangle and we draw a diagonal like this, suppose this is rectangle is PQRS, then we draw the diagonal QS, then we have two right angle triangles. One is triangle QPS, another one is triangle QRS. Yes, correct. Right? So same Pythagoras theorem can be applied to these triangles also. The same thing will happen even if we get square. All this is required to solve the questions in practice set 2.1. Let us now start solving the questions in the practice set 2.1. The first question is very, very simple. Chand, if you can come out of mute and read the question.
Identify with reason which of the following are Pythagorean triplets.
Thank you, Chand. So as Chand read, and you would have heard that there are two parts to this question. First part is to identify. Second part is to state the reason. If we don't write the reason, our answer will not be complete. If we don't identify, then also our answer will not be complete. Right? So some people answer it as a question, one question with 6 parts, and some else answer it as 6 different questions. For example, we can answer that out of all these 6 triplets, which ones are the Pythagorean triplets? Or what we can do is we will take each triplet and find out if it is a Pythagorean triplet or not. The second method is a better method because it makes it very clear when we write it. I will explain one to you. You will solve the rest one by one. So if we look at first, the numbers that are given are 3, 5, and 4. Remember, Pythagorean triplets are group of 3 numbers such that they satisfy the Pythagoras theorem, to put it simply. Or we can say 3 numbers such that the square of the biggest number is equal to the sum of the squares of the other 2 numbers. So first we have to identify which is the biggest number, which is the largest number, right? So first we will have to answer biggest number. It is 5. Then we have to find the square of this number. So 5 square equals to 5 into 5 equals to 25. This is first part. For the second part, we will take the sum of the squares of the other two. That is 3 square plus 4 square. If you remember the squares till 30, this question will be very, very fast, easy. If you don't remember, you will have to calculate the squares in rough. So 3 square is 9. 4 square is 16. Which comes to 25. This is number 2. Now, what we see from 1 and 2 is both 5 square and 3 square plus 4 square is 25. So that is exactly what we have to write. You can write 5 square equals to 3 square plus 4 square. Then we will write yes, therefore yes. 3, 5, 4 is a Pythagorean triplet. Now, it is also possible that if the numbers are different, that what we get in 1 and what we get in 2 different. If they are different, then here, instead of writing equal to, we will write not equal to. And in the answer, instead of writing yes, we will write no. That is it. Now, beta, you would realize that most of the questions here, right, they are very, their numbers smaller than 30. Their numbers smaller than 30. So, if you practiced the squares till 30, these questions can be very, very easily answered. I have told you how to write the complete answer. So now we will quickly see what happens with the other triplets. I'm not going to write the complete answer on the screen. You know how to write. I will show you the calculations and you will help me with the calculations because I don't remember everything. The second triplet is 4, 9, and 12. Clearly, the biggest number is 12. And we should know that 12 square is 144. The other two numbers are 4 and 9. Now, square of 4 is 16. Square of 9 is 81. And when we add 81 and 16, we get 97. So clearly, now we can say 12 square is not equal to 4 square plus 9 square. So this is not a triplet. The third triplet is 5, 12, 13. Very clearly, the biggest number is 13. So we will take the square of 13 and we should know it is 169. Correct. The other two numbers, which are smaller numbers, are 5 and 12. And if we know our square, 5 square is 25. 12 square is 144. When we add them, we get 169. So we can say 13 square equals to 5 square plus 12 square. And because they are same, we will say yes. 5, 12, and 13 are not just any triplet. They are they are a Pythagorean triplet. We will look at 4 later. Let's look at the fifth one because this again has numbers which are less than 30. So now the triplet is 10, 24, 27. Clearly the biggest number is 27. Tell me what is the square of 27? If you have
729.
729 you are saying? Yes, 729. All of you are saying the same thing. Now, if we look at the other two numbers, so 10 square is 100. How much is 24 square? Yes, it's
576.
correct, 576. So see, if you remember, it becomes so much easier. So when we add, this comes to 676. Clearly, 27 square is not equal to 10 square plus 24 square. So we will say no, this is not a Pythagorean triplet. Now, if you are studying sincerely, you will realize that 11, 60, 61 is an example from the textbook. On the first page of the chapter, when the chapter talks about Pythagorean triplets, it's on page number 30. The example that is given is 11, 60, 61. And I had listed it as one of the basic triplets. Here, the biggest number is 61. When you multiply 61 with 61, you will find out that it comes to 3721. When you take the smaller numbers, 11 square is 121, 60 square is 6 into 6, 36, and 0. So it becomes 20, and 2 zeros. When we add, it comes to 3721. So here also, we are seeing 61 square equals to 11 square plus 60 square. So we will say, yes, this is a Pythagorean triplet. Now, finally, if you look at number 4, it's not like I don't like number 4, but there are bigger numbers. They have a big number, so I kept it to the last. So the triplet now is 24, 70, and 74. Clearly, the biggest number is 74. And to find the square of 74, we will multiply 74 with 74. When you multiply, you will get 5,476. Now, you have to be honest when you are studying at home, and you have to do the multiplication with your pen and paper, not using calculator. Calculators are not allowed in the exam. Now, when we take the smaller numbers, we already know that the square of 24 is 576. You told me. And square of 70, we can easily find out by taking the square of 7, which is 49, and 0 converts into 2 zeros. Now, when we add these, we get how much? Can you tell me? Help me add these. 4900.
5476.
Okay, 5476. Thank you. So we can say that 74 square equals to 24 square plus 70 square. Because they are equal, we will say, yes, this is a Pythagorean triplet. Moving to the second question. Let me see if I have put the question correctly on the screen. Yes, it is correct. So this question involves a diagram and some explanation of the diagram. I will explain the question, then you will try to solve it on your own. I will tell you what you need to use. It says there is a triangle MNP in which angle MNP is 90 degrees. You can see it here clearly. This angle here is 90 degrees. It says segment NQ, you have found NQ, is perpendicular to segment MP. Yes, we can see this. So this angle is also 90 degrees. You have understood the second part of the question. Third part, it says NQ equals to 9. That means this length is 9. That is the third part of the question. Fourth part of the question is QP is 4. That is the fourth part of question. What we have to find is the length of this line segment NQ. The hint I am giving you is we will use the theorem of geometric mean. Theorem of geometric mean. Use it, do the calculation in your notebook, and then share your answer in the chat box with everyone. Now, using the theorem of geometric mean, we can say that NQ square is equal to MQ into PQ. From the question, we know that MQ is given as 9 and PQ is given as 4. Now, using simple arithmetic, we can say NQ will be equal to square root of 9 into 4. Square root of 9, because 9 is the square of 3, square root of 9 will be 3. And because 2 is the square of 4 is the square of 2, square root of 4 will be 2. And we get 6. We have the answer. But there is something that is still missing from complete answer. And that complete answer should include in the bracket for the first line, theorem of geometric mean. Now your answer is complete. Now our answer is complete. If it is a 2 marks question, we will get complete 2 marks. If it is a 3 mark question, we will get complete 3 marks. Thank you, Chad, for reminding me that it will be so much better if we write 6 units. Thank you very much. Yes, we should write 6 units. Another way to solve the same question is, from here, we could have also said that it is square root of 36. And square root of 36 means 6. This also we can say. But what's the use of multiplying and then getting the square root? It is much easier if we get the square root of the smaller numbers. And that is why my preference is this method. This is my preferred method. Fiza, can you come out of mute and read this question?
In figure 2.18, triangle QPR is equal to 90 degree. Segment PM, seg QR and QMR PM is equal to 10. QM is equal to 8. Find QR.
Thank you, Fiza. Most of it you read it correctly. There were some very major mistakes in your reading. So I'm reading it again. It says in figure 2.18, whenever you see decimal numbers, the digits after the decimals, they are read individually. So we will never say 2.18. That is wrong. It is 2.18. In figure 2.18, angle QPR, it's not triangle QPR. Angle QPR equals to 90 degrees. So we have a triangle. Yes, there is a triangle, and the triangle is PQR. But the angle that we are referring to is this angle, angle QPR, 90 degrees. Also, that is the first part. The second part says segment PM is perpendicular to segment QR. That means the line segment PM makes an angle of 90 degree with the side QR, and QMR, when 3 points are written like this, it means they are collinear. It means QMR, they are on a straight line, and that straight line is QR, collinear. So second part, third part is done. The fourth part is PM equals to 10. Very clearly, it has shown. Fifth part, it says QM equals to 8. Yep, done. Now the question is, we have to find the length of QR, pura, this length. We have already seen a similar question in the example yesterday. Here also you will use the theorem of, maybe you will use theorem of geometric mean, maybe you will use something else. I'm trying to confuse you, and you can find, this will be a 2-step answer. First, you will find out RM or MR, then you will find QR. With these hints, try to do the calculations on your own in the notebook and share the correct answer or answer with everyone in the chat. So this question also can be solved using the concept of the theorem of geometric mean. But unlike the previous question, this cannot be answered in one step. It will take 2 steps. Understand that QR is nothing but QM plus MR. Why? Because Q, M, and R on a straight line. Very clearly, it is visible. We know that QM is equal to 8. It is given. We have to find MR. If we find MR, we can add it to 8 and find the length of QR. Now we are talking about 3 sides now. This one, and this one. Now it is very clear that the theorem that we can use is the theorem of geometric mean. What will we say? We will say 10 square equals to MR into QM, or we can directly write into 8. Within the bracket, we will write theorem of geometric mean. I have written it in short, and this is acceptable. You can write like this, theorem of geometric mean. Now, when we solve this equation, it's a linear equation in one variable. The variable is MR. We can write, if we take this, if we change the sides, we will have MR equals to 10 square is 100 divided by 8. And when you divide 100 by 8, you will get 12.5. This is your step number 1. Then you will write QR equals to QM plus MR. We know that QM is 8. We have found out that MR is 12.5. When we add 8 plus 12.5 is 20.5. And as Chand would remind me, we should write units. I'm saying it again. We are starting from the theorem of geometric mean. We, in this case, the altitude is PM. It is given as 10. So 10 square equals to 2 parts of the hypotenuse, that is MR and QM. We know the length of QM, which is 8. Using that, we find the value or the length of MR, which is 12.5. And when we add it to the length of QM, which is given as 8, we get the answer as 20.5 units as the length of QR. Aarti Bania, can you come out of mute and read this question?
Yeah, bhaiya. See figure 2.19. Find RP and PS using the information given in the angle PSR.
Thank you, Aarti. Just like FISA, you also read most of it correct, but just like FISA, you also read the same things wrong, right?
Triangle PSR.
Yes, that is one correction. And the other correction is 2.19, not 2.19. It is 2.19. So it says, see figure 2.19, find RP and PS using the information given in triangle PSR. Yes. Good, you corrected yourself. So the way this question is a little different from the previous questions is, all the information is not written in the question. Some of the information is just there in the figure. So we have to figure it out. First thing that we see is angle PSR is 90 degree because of this symbol, the square rectangle symbol, it is 90 degree. When we see this, when we understand this, we know that triangle PSR is a right angled triangle. Second thing that we notice is one of the angles, which is angle P, is 30 degree. We do know that the sum of the three angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Out of 180 degree, one is 30, another one is 90. So using your simple arithmetic, if we subtract 30 and 90 from 180, we will get 60. So this angle R here is of 60 degrees. This is what we have to understand on our own. Then using the rule about the special triangles. Now the triangle, this is not any triangle PSR. This is a special right angle triangle PSR, which is a 30, 60, 90 degrees angle. Now we have to find RP and PS. Where is RP? This is RP, the hypotenuse. Where is PS? PS is a side. What else do we know? We know that the side SR equals to 6. The hint that I will give to you is, first we will calculate the hypotenuse. We will calculate the remaining side, that is PS. These are the two steps that we will have to carry out. Let us see if you can do it on your own. So actually this question has 3 steps. The first step is to find the value of angle R, and we have found it to be 60 degrees. This is step number 1. Here we had to use that the sum of the 3 angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. This property we had to use. Once we have found it, we now know that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we also know that in such a triangle, the side opposite to 30 degree angle is half of the hypotenuse. Here, the hypotenuse is PR or RP, however you may want to write it. So if we apply that rule, what we can write is the side opposite to 30 degree angle is SR. So SR equals to 1/2 into hypotenuse, which is PR. We don't know PR, but we do know SR, that is 6. So put the value 6 here. Now use simple arithmetic and algebra. I'm sorry, I wrote it wrong. It should be PR. When you take this 2 from right hand side to left hand side, division will become multiplication. So we can write PR equals to 6 into 2, which is 12. Right? So we know the hypotenuse is 12. This is the second value that we are calculating. From the same 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, we know that the side opposite to 60 degree angle is √3/2 times hypotenuse. What is that side? It is this side, PS. So we can write PS equals to √3/2 into hypotenuse, which is PR, and we know PR is equal to 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 into √3 is 6√3 units. We have the complete answer. Next question, question number 5, is an activity-based question. That means it's a fill in the blanks question. So it says, for finding AB and BC with the help of information given in figure 2.20, it's not 2.20, 2.20, complete the following activity. So what is there in figure 2.20? There is a triangle ABC. Not just any triangle, it is a right angle triangle. Not just any right angle triangle, it is an isosceles right angle triangle. See, AB is equal to BC. We know that the angles opposite to equal sides are equal, then we can say that angle A will be equal to angle C. We know that the three angles of a triangle, they add up to 180 degree. So we can find out that angle A is 45 degree. So is angle C, which is 45 degree. Now, this triangle is not just any triangle. Triangle ABC is a isosceles right angle triangle, which is a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. If we know this, we can complete the activity quickly. It's very easy. First step, it says AB equals to BC. Yes. How do we know? It is given in the diagram. So you will write given. Then it says angle BAC equals to how much? Now we are checking कि बच्चे को ये समझ में आता है कि नहीं, that when the angle is shown like this, it is of 90 degrees. 90 degrees. Now, when we have such a triangle, isosceles right angle triangle, we said the sides will be 1 by root 2 times of the hypotenuse. Now, this we studied last year, this we revised this year and this morning. So, AB will be equal to BC will be equal to 1 by root 2 into AC. AC is the hypotenuse. AC is also root 2. So that is what has happened in this step. So we don't need to do anything here. It remains as 1 by root 2. Now something funny is happening from to the next step. To the next step. What has happened here is that person is trying to solve square root of 8 divided by square root of 2. And the way this person is solving is 8 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2. So this is square root of 2 into 2 into 2 by square root of 2. Because it is square root of 2 into 2 into 2, for every pair 1 will come out. So this will be 2 into square root of 2 by square root of 2. So this continues to be 1 by square root of 2. You need to know that square root of 8 is equal to 2 root 2. SERDS, class 9, chapter number 3, maths 1. Now, root 2 and root 2, when they divide, we are left with 1, and 1 into 2 will be 2, and that is the answer. The next question, which is question number 6, is a different question. Different question because it looks different. There are no diagrams. The entire question is written in English as a sentence, and there is only one number. So we need to know a lot. Very basic things. To first understand what the question means and then answer it. Khadija, can you come out of mute and read the question, please, beta?
Find the side and perimeter of a square whose diagonal is 10 centimeter.
Thank you, Khadija. So the question says, question tells that there is a square whose diagonal is of length 10 centimeter. We have to find its side and we have to find its perimeter. So to make it easy for us to solve and to make it easy for the examiner to check, we will draw a rough diagram. We will draw this rough diagram in the fair space. If you use scale, very good. If you don't use scale, that's okay. Name it A, B, C, D. We have to show a diagonal. It is of length 10 centimeters. One more thing that we should show, 90 degrees. One more thing we should show, that it is a square. we have to find the perimeter and we have to find the side. Perimeter means the total boundary. So what it means is, if we first calculate the side, all the sides will be of equal length. That is the very definition of the square. Then we can find the perimeter as second step. But first, we will have to find the side. Now, if you look at triangle ABC, it is not just any triangle. First of all, it is a right angled triangle. Second, it is an isosceles triangle. And when a right angled triangle is isosceles, I'm saying isosceles because the sides AB and BC are of equal length. We also know that it will be a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. That means this angle here is 45 degrees, 45 degrees, and this angle here is for 45 degrees. Now you can find out the side. Try find the side, then try find the perimeter. Share the answer in the chat. So we have already said that the triangle ABC is not just any triangle. It's a right angle triangle. It is a isosceles right angle triangle, and that is why it is a special triangle of 45, 45, 90 degrees angles. We know when this happens, the sides are of length 1 by root 2 into hypotenuse. We know this. So using this formula for this triangle, we know the hypotenuse is AC, which is 10. So what we can say, AB equals to BC, or just write AB, the side, is equal to 1 by root 2 multiplied by hypotenuse, which is AC, and AC is equal to 10. So our answer is 10 by root 2. If this is 10 root 2, all the other sides will also be 10 root 2. So our perimeter will be, because there are 4 sides, 4 equal sides, 10 root 2 plus 10 root 2 plus 10 root 2 plus 10 root 2 can also be written as 4 into 10 root 2. And when you multiply, this comes to 40 by root 2. Now, mathematically speaking, these answers are correct. 10 by root 2 and 40 by root 2, these answers are correct. But when you match these answers with the answers that are given at the end of the textbook, you will see that they are not matching. They are not matching. They are not matching because these are not beautiful answers. They are not beautiful answers because in the denominator, we have surd, root 2 and root 2. So to make them beautiful, we have to rationalize the surd, rationalize the denominator, and we can do it by simply multiplying the same surd to the denominator and to the numerator. So this becomes 10 root 2. Root 2 into root 2 is 2. 10 by 2 is 5 root 2. This is the answer that is given in the textbook. Similarly, we can find perimeter as, if we take side as 5 root 2, so 4 into 5 root 2, 4 into 5 is 20.
20 root 2. 20
Correct.
root 2.
It is 20 root 2. We can also find it by rationalizing the previous fraction denominator. So multiply root 2 to the denominator, multiply root 2 to the numerator. We get 40 root 2 by 2. 40 by 2 is 20 root 2. Okay. These are beautiful answers. This is what is considered standard answers. Chand has just reminded me that I need to write something more. Yes, correct. The unit here is centimeters. So yes, we should write centimeters, and we should write centimeters here, centimeters here. Thank you, Chan. Question number 7 is very simple. There is nothing new happening in this question. We will need to use the geometric mean, theorem of geometric mean. Then we will have to use Pythagoras theorem to find the sides EG, FD, and EF from the figure 2.21. Understand that when it says angle DFE equals to 90 degree, that angle is here. It's not very clearly visible, but it is shown in the diagram. This is 90 degree. Also, when it says FG is perpendicular to 90 degree, it means this angle here is 90 degree. It also means this angle here is 90 degrees. All you have to do is use theorem of geometric mean and Pythagoras theorem to first find EG, then find FD, and finally find EF. Find EG and share your answers. Now look at the right angle triangle EFG. Look at the right angle triangle EFG. Look at the right angle triangle FGD, and look at the right angle triangle DEF. First look at triangle DEF. Now in the right angle triangle DEF, we have an altitude FG which is perpendicular to the hypotenuse ED. So the theorem of geometric mean is applicable, and when we use that, we can write 12 square equals to EG into GD, which is 8. Theorem of geometric mean. Using simple arithmetic, we can find EG as 12 square by 8. Now, one way to solve this is 12 square is 144, and you divide 144 by 8. But the smart way would be to see that 12 square is 12 into 12 by 8. 4 3s are 12, 4 2s are 8, 2 1s are 2, 2 6s are 12, 6 into 3 is 18 units. Right? So, Prachi, Chanda, Chand, Khadija, Karthik, your answers were correct. We got this 18. Now it asks find FD. Not a problem. You look at triangle FGD. This is also a right angle triangle. We know the two sides 8 and 12. They are very clearly given. Now FD is the hypotenuse. So using Pythagoras theorem, we can say FD is equal to, directly writing, square root of 8 square plus 12 square. कैसे किया हमने? Pythagoras theorem. Now 8 square is 64. 12 square is 144. When we add, this comes to square root of how much, beta? Waiting for your answer.
208.
Square root of
208.
Square root of 208. Okay. Now, when you simplify this square root of 208, you will find a better answer. Can someone tell me how much is that? How much is square root of 208? Karthik is saying it is square root of 4 into square root of 13. Okay, maybe it is. You will factorize it and you will find out how much ever it is. Now, finally, when you, not finally, once again, if you look at the bigger triangle DEF, once again, we are looking at DEF. So now we have square root of 208 as this side. Now we have DE as 18 plus 8 is equal to 26. Now, once again, using Pythagoras theorem, we can find EF as writing it directly. Square root of 18 plus 8, 26 हुआ. So hypotenuse square is 26 square. Minus the side square is 208. Square root का square. Do you remember what is the square of 26? Please help me with the square of 26.
Six, 7, 6.
Thank you. So 676 minus 208, and you will find the final. When you subtract 208 from 676, you have how much? 68. Is it right? 468. Check it.
Yes.
468. And when you simplify this, Linda, please give me the answer. How much will this be? If anyone has calculated, okay. Karthik is saying 6 root 13. Anyone else? Yes, Chanda, you have raised your hand. You can speak. What is your question?
I'm telling the answer 6 root 13.
Oh, I'm hearing it only now. 6 root 13. Thank you. We have the complete answer. Next question, question number 8 is very similar to question number 6. Remember, in question number 6, we had a square, but here we have a rectangle, right? Here also the diagonal is given, and it says the diagonal is 35 centimeters. So to make it easy for everyone, we will draw a rough diagram, rough rectangle, A, B, C, D, and we will show the diagonal AC, which is 35. Remember centimeter. Chan will remind me later that I have to write centimeter as units. And it says the breadth is 12 centimeter. So depending on how you have drawn the rectangle, the shorter side will be 12. We know that in rectangles also, all the angles are of 90 degrees. We also know that opposite sides are of equal lengths. This is what a rectangle is about. So just like what we did in case of square, we will find the side that we have to find is this side. And once we have found AB, we can find the, sorry. The length is given as 35. I'm very sorry. The length is given as 35. The breadth is given as 32. Very sorry I am. We have to find the diagonal. So this is even more easy, right? So in the right angle, in the triangle ABC, we see that angle B is equal to 90 degrees because this is a rectangle. So clearly AC is the hypotenuse. So just by using the Pythagoras theorem, we can say AC equals to square root of 35 square plus 12 square. You will find out, make the calculations, and you will get something as cms. Right? So we can calculate the square of 35 as 1225. We know that square of 12 is 144. When we add them, we get 1369. And we can calculate the square root of 1369. Or if we remember that 37 square is 1369, we can directly say 7. So here is a link to class 8 and class 9 where we need to calculate the square root. Please try to find the square root on your own after the class. If you are not able to find the square root, tell me. This question number 9, is a very important question because this is a form of question that you will see at many other places also, even in the next exercise, also throughout the textbook. Right? These type of questions will keep coming because this is a combination of perpendicular sides and medians and all. You see, it says in figure 2.22. First of all, what we see is a triangle PQR. We see triangle PQR, and we see that in it angle R is 90 degree. So we know that this is a right angle triangle. And the moment we know that this is a right angle triangle, we know that the similarity of the triangles, the theorem of geometric mean, and the Pythagoras theorem will be applicable. Now it also says M is the midpoint. This is what I said, right? It's a combination of Pythagoras theorem and median. So MR equals to MQ. It's the midpoint. Then it says prove that PQ square equals to 4PM square minus 3PR square. सबसे पहले तो डरना नहीं. It's not a difficult question. It's an important question, but it's an easy question. Now understand how you go about it. How do you start thinking about it? So when you look at this diagram, you see a right angle triangle. When you see a right angle triangle, the things that should come to your mind is Pythagoras theorem, the geometric mean, and all those. Then you will try to use those things to solve. That's first thing that you have to think about. The second thing that you need to think about is, what is it asked in the proof? Something is asked about PQ. What is PQ? It's an hypotenuse. See, it's a hypotenuse. Second one is PM. What is PM? It's another hypotenuse. And the question relates to length of the hypotenuse. So clearly, this is something about Pythagoras theorem. And PR is just one side, which is common to both the triangles. So if we understand these things, if we think like this, then we already know that we need to use the Pythagoras theorem. We need to use the Pythagoras theorem. Now we have to look at two triangles. One is triangle PQR, which is the bigger triangle. Second one is triangle PRM, which is the smaller triangle. Now, if we apply Pythagoras theorem to triangle PQR, then our hypotenuse, which is PQ square, will be equal to PR square plus QR square. Very, 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 very simple. Similarly, if we apply Pythagoras theorem to triangle PRM, we will have PM square, which is the hypotenuse, will be equal to PR square plus RM square. This is number 2. Right? See, we have PQ, we need PQ. We have PR, we need PR. PM we need, PR we need. The things that we don't need are QR and RM. We need to do something about them and get the answer. We are on the right track, don't worry. Also remember, RM is equal to 1/2 of QR. So here, where it says RM, we can write PM square equals to PR square plus 1/2, RM की जगह 1/2 QR का square. So this becomes PR square plus 1/4 QR square. And when we simplify this equation by multiplying the entire thing by 4, we get 4PM square equals to 4PR square plus QR square. Now comes the trick. We somehow need to get PQ from PM and all, right? So first what we will do is, maybe we will take see, you have PM and PR on the same side. So what we will do is 4m square minus 4TR square equals to QR square or something like that. And we will try to so we will combine what is there in 3 and what is there in 1 to come to this place. I'm not going to solve it here. I will wait for a couple of hours after the class to see if any one of you is able to get to the final point before I send you the final steps of the answer. Where is this last question? Okay, so this is the last question. It's a word problem. Yes, there's a word problem in geometry. Very interesting situation. I will explain the situation. You will try to solve on your own. It reads, walls of 2 buildings, दीवारें of 2 buildings on either side of a street. माने एक गली है. There is a street and sorry for the disturbance. Walls of 2 buildings. एक गली है on either side of the street. एक गली है जिनके 2 साइड में buildings are parallel to each other, right? So suppose the 2 buildings are like this, and this is the gully. A ladder means एक सीढ़ी whose length is 5.8 meters long is placed on the street such that its top just reaches the window of a building at a height of 4 meters. Suppose there is a window here and the ladder is able to reach that window. On turning the ladder over to the other side, जब इस लैडर को हम ऐसे इस तरफ झुका देते हैं, its top touches the window of the other building at a height of only 4.2. Another window, now it is only able to reach 4.2 meters. The ladder remains same. The question is, find the width of the street. माने ये जो गली की चौड़ाई है, कितना चौड़ा है ये पूछा गया. How is it related to what we are studying? Yes, it is related. You will see when you write A, B, C, D, E. We know that buildings are constructed parallel or perpendicular to the ground. That means angle B is 90 degree, angle D is 90 degree. That means we have 2 right angle triangles now, triangle A, B, C. We have triangle C, D, E. If we have 2 right angle triangles, it is very clear that Pythagoras theorem is applicable. Now, using the Pythagoras theorem, we can find BC. Using the Pythagoras theorem, we can find CD. And then finally, we can say the width of the street, which is equal to BD, can be found out by adding BC with CD. Okay. The interesting question here is, yes, calculate, you can apply Pythagoras theorem and you can calculate what is the width of the street. That's very simple mathematics. But use your logic and tell me the base of the ladder, the point C, is it nearer to the building AB or is it nearer to the building ED, and why? Think and answer. Base of the ladder,
4.2 plus
the base of the ladder is nearer to DE because अगर आप देखो that we are able to reach a higher height, 4.2 compared to only 4. तो जिस तरफ हम ज्यादा हाइट अचीव कर रहे हैं उसका मतलब है सीढ़ी उस तरफ को है. Very simple, common sense. You have all experienced this in our lives. So keep this in mind also while you are solving this question.